Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wild Wasteland. As always, I'm Dean Maldonado, and with me, as he oftentimes is Michael Johnson.
What's going on? I'm wearing a blue shirt today. Welcome to the podcast.
He is wearing a blue shirt. I mean, it has stripes of blue.
It's like a bowling shirt.
Oh, it's entirely a bowling shirt. It's not like a bowling shirt.
It's pretty great. I'm getting to that age.
Yeah, he's 72. And he finally thinks that he needs to wear a bowling shirt.
Bowling shirts, shorts, and flip-flops for the rest of my life, dude.
Yep, with a newsy cap.
I wish I had a cap. I'm not a cap guy.
That's not yet. Not yet. You weren't a bowling shirt guy until now. And soon you'll be a cap guy.
I want to be those like kangaroo hats.
Oh, Kangol?
Is that what they were?
Yeah.
like Samuel Jackson wore them throughout the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's Kangol.
That's like a cool, like, cap thing.
I guess.
Do they still have those?
Of course. Of course they still make it.
Oh.
They still make a lot of things if you look for it. You can still buy a full, like, 60-pound bag of just Lucky Charms marshmallows.
No.
Yeah.
They sell just the good parts?
Yeah, just because they send all the shitty parts to horse farms.
Oh. Where they make glue.
Exactly.
Oh. So what are we talking about today?
No, we're going to be talking, honestly, about the power of belief.
Oh, my God. Are we going to become a religious podcast now?
No. We're looking at that, but through the lens of the Heaven's Gate cult.
Oh, I love Heaven's Gate cult. Nothing like sneakers and...
sneakers, shaved hair, and
comets.
$5 in quarters.
Oh, well, that's... You got to get across the river Styx. It costs some money.
I guess inflation really went up in hell.
Yeah. It's like...
It used to be, what, 2 pence?
2 pence? Now it's $5 in quarters. Just quarters, though. No nickels and... Don't fucking try to, chump out the ferryman. He wants those 20 quarters.
Oh, yeah. God's falling behind on his rent. So he needs some help with the laundry.
It's fucking gentrification, dude.
Yeah. God, heaven stopped being a gated neighborhood and just shit went downhill.
Oh, they got rid of the pearly gates.
They got rid of the pearly gates and so
they're letting everybody in.
Yeah, centaurs started coming in. They're like, we don't have bathrooms for you. And they're like, you guys don't have bathrooms at all. What's going on here? What do you do with your feces? And they're like, well, none of us poop. And they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? And then it just all went downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
The unicorns came in, started a fight.
Christianity needs to take a page out of the Mormon religion. You got to put up as many gates as possible. And also find a state in America that you can control, too.
Yeah, that second part's helpful.
Yeah,
to be fair, the Christians already did that, but better.
Yeah.
Because they control a city that was given its own designation as its own country in the middle of another country.
Well, for the longest time, Italy did not recognize the Vatican. It wasn't until 1994 or something that they actually acknowledged them as a country, or essentially how
maybe they were just waiting for them to finally apologize to Galileo. That's one of my favorite examples of the church just being a piece of shit to be a piece of shit.
Look, I invented the helicopter, and they're like, burn it.
No, it was that he was like, hey, just so you know,
okay,
I found out some pretty revolutionary shit, and they're like, ooh, cool, tell us first, we want to know.
We love revolutionary shit.
And he's like, yeah, so you remember how you guys have been telling everyone that the entire universe revolves around our planet?
Nothing wrong with that, right? We're still, number one.
Oh, we're totally totally in it.
In the middle of the universe?
Sure, but we're kind of we're all rotating around that big sun. And some of these other stars are actually other planets that are doing it with us. And it's that thing's in the center, and we're just kind of going around it.
No, it's going around us.
No. I can prove it mathematically. Here, let me show you my math. And here, this is...
I don't like what you're talking. Burn him.
No, they didn't burn him. They put him under house arrest.
Yeah, they just locked him in the house
Until
for
he died.
50 years.
Well, and then it wasn't until 1992 that they officially recanted their
stance.
Their stance, and they gave an apology to Galileo.
Oh, I bet he really appreciates that.
Yeah, in 92.
I've been dead for 300 years.
Yeah, they finally, they really turned a page when the Pope saw Aladdin.
Oh wow.
He was like, "Oh,
it is a
Robin
whole
Williams
new world.
really can do a lot, so I guess we can go around the sun." Put out a memo. Like, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
Are you pandering to the Disney crowd right now because the new garbage remakes of all these crap is going on?
No, I haven't seen any of the ones. I haven't seen the Aladdin. I haven't seen the Lion King.
Yeah, probably for the best. They look like shit.
I am excited to go and see the live action Mulan. Simply because, here's the thing. There's no dragons, there's no singing. They made it into an Asian action film.
This will do well in China.
Yeah.
This will not do well in America.
No, but I'll love it.
Like, that's, I don't know.
I'm the kind of guy to go watch a fucking 3.5 hour Chinese movie called God of War, which is just about like one dude who's a great soldier.
Oh, I love all those Chinese. Like, I've been watching a few of those Chinese movies. They're pretty good.
If you want a good series, just go watch Ip Man.
Oh, yeah.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then they made a 4th one. I haven't seen that one. But the 3rd one's good. He fights Mike Tyson.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I haven't, I saw those like 10 years ago or something on Netflix.
Yeah, they're never going off Netflix.
Yeah. It's unlike
because Americans love Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
We just love that fucking guy.
I watched one where it was like The Great Wall of China with Matt Damon. That was pretty cool.
Was it?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. It was garbage.
Yeah, I heard it got shit reviews because everyone's like, why is Matt Damon a Chinese man?
He wasn't a Chinese. He was like helping the Chinese. The Chinese were like, we can't figure this out without a white guy. And they're like, I know a guy.
I know a guy. He somehow lives here and doesn't speak our language.
I'm Matt Damon.
I'm a time traveler. I once killed a cop and forgot my identity.
Oh.
And then went back to school and was given a love life lesson until I finally realized that I'm truly just a real puppet who can only say his name. Matt Damon!
Halfway through that, I got confused and was thinking about Mark Wahlberg.
Same here. I almost went to Ted.
Yeah, I was like, they look exactly the same.
I know. It's like Dennis Quaid and Harrison Ford. They look shockingly similar when you put them next to each other.
There's other examples, but I can't think of any right now.
Yeah, Paul Rudd and Paul Rudd. They look stupidly similar.
Yeah, like if you just look like a normal guy.
You know what's weird? Jonah Hill and Jonah Hill look nothing alike.
Right? Really fat Jonah Hill from like Grandma Boys.
No, when he's really fat, he looks very similar to when he's really skinny. When he's that mid-weight, he looks like an entirely different person.
Did you read that he was losing work when he lost all that weight, so he had to gain it back?
Well, I believe it. Did you see him in War Dogs?
I love War Dogs. What are you talking about?
But did you see how fat he was in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, he definitely reinflated himself.
You need to be fat to work, Jonah Hill.
And he's like, damn it.
We got enough skinny guys. We got enough frumpy guys. We need a fat guy.
Yeah, we need a funny fat guy.
I'm your man. I'm replacing Jonah Hill.
You can, but I think Zach Galifianakis has first dibs.
No, he's retiring.
Oh, yeah, he's going to go be a full-time clown.
Yeah.
Because Baskets has done so goddamn well.
Like
it's on its like 4th or 5th season.
I've never seen it. Oh, no, I've never seen a single episode. Is it good?
It's very Galifianakis. If you like his humor, you'll like the show.
It's difficult because he has a lot of different, there's his stand-up is different from his acting, which is different from his
stand-up is absurdist.
Weird humor.
His stand-up is mostly absurdist.
I like it.
Which isn't supposed to have a point.
I I remember he was pretending to be his brother or something a few times.
Oh.
Did you ever see that? Like,
No, I just know
I'm
that.
Randy.
Oh, I have seen that.
I'm his brother.
But I just like that he, when he moved to LA, he didn't have a washing machine. And so he did all his laundry at this one place and like made friends with an old lady.
Yeah.
And he like brings her to every premiere and all like the award shows and shit like that. Just this random old lady that he made friends with.
That's really nice. You know, celebrities are just like us. So
Except
talking about belief.
Really, 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 really rich.
Well, they do all right.
Yeah, a couple mil in the bank. What's that to talk about?
Yeah, but do they have a podcast with 100 listeners?
No, they couldn't have one of those if they tried.
No, they'd be like the Conan O'Brien podcast is one of the quickest sinking ships I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I don't know.
How so?
I would just fuck around. I don't know anything.
Damn.
I haven't read anything. It's probably not doing well.
Well, if you want to talk about belief, we can talk about the Heaven's Gate cult.
Oh, yeah, the Heaven's Gate cult. I love this.
So, for those of you who don't know, Heaven's Gate was...
Is this going to be a series of like beliefs and we talk about different cults?
If you want. I really didn't plan to do that, but we can.
Like, I want to do more cults.
Okay, then start telling me which cults you want to do, and we'll do more cults. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? We're doing cults.
Put your triangle hats on.
You don't need a triangle hat. You just need a hat made of aluminum foil.
No, that was when we were doing aliens. When we're doing cult stuff, I want people to take funny pictures of you wearing a hat and send it to us. Not through the email because no one fucking uses it. But
through
the Facebook group.
Just post it on the page.
That nobody fucking looks at.
Just post it on the page.
I want to see triangle hats because we're starting a cult.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we already have you to bankroll and me to be the charismatic leader. It'll work.
Thank you, Ma Zedong.
Yeah, you're welcome. I prefer to be known as Marshall Applewhite.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can be my Bonnie Nettles.
Thank you. Will do.
So those two, very, very odd pasts before they came together. So Bonnie Nettles was in like a 23-year marriage and then split. That same summer, she met Marshall Applewhite.
Okay.
Who
is the
who
leader?
was divorced? Who just got divorced from his wife after 19 years and fired from his job as a
fry cook.
No, he was a college professor of music.
Oh,
in Texas, and he got fired because he was found to be sexually assaulting some of his male students.
Oh, well, that will get
which
you
is also
fired.
why his wife divorced him.
Yeah, nothing like. Wait, how a university?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was going to say pedophilia, but no, it's just
they were like
just rape.
Probably, yeah, it's just rape. It's the time. Come on. Oh. They were old enough to know it was wrong.
Have a few drinks, come over, maybe wear some white shoes, maybe put 20 quarters in your pocket, or you just have to see me.
He wasn't even nearly at that phase yet.
Okay.
So they met up, and so she was going around parts of Texas. Yeah, Bonnie Nettles was doing astrological charts.
Okay.
For people, and that's when she met. And she did his astrological chart, and she told her daughter that there was something very different and special about him.
Mm.
And so they started a new religion. Which
as you do.
They, started as a small business, and they went out to find followers.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1973, those two went on a spiritual road trip. Because a lot is notated through Bonnie Nettles' daughter, because Bonnie would send her letters. And the letter, she's like, we just came out of 3 weeks in the wilderness, and we know what we're sent here to do. And I was right about this man. He is something very special. This is like the big one. This is the big one.
Yeah.
So Bonnie was all bought in.
Do we have any of the letters, or are they all like private?
No, they're pretty private, and the daughter only like quotes from them in certain interviews.
Well, that's interesting and good, but it's like
I know, I want it.
Put the letters out.
But so they wanted to try and save humanity as Jesus once did.
Oh, good. Yeah, nothing like a Jesus issue to start a cult.
Mm-hmm. So, Applewhite.
Do you know what year this was?
1973.
Okay.
And so Applewhite, who goes by Murph, his name's Murphy.
Okay.
But so Murph actually gets arrested on this spiritual road trip for attempting to steal a rental car, and does 6 months in jail for it.
Stealing a rental car, that's like, I don't know, that's almost...
Because they were penniless.
Yeah, like, just say, like, oh, I'll pay you back. I owe you rental car.
Jesus took the wheel. I couldn't stop him.
I was like, well, Jesus.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing, Lord?
We didn't rent this car properly.
Yeah.
We didn't go through the proper channels.
Jesus just punched through the window, grabbed the wires. I couldn't stop him. He didn't get hurt because the glass just went right through his hand, just where that nail went in. But so while he was in jail, he like finally tuned what their pitch was going to be.
Oh.
And
jail seems to do that for a lot of cult leaders.
Well,
like,
I mean, yeah, it just gives them time to think.
Yeah, Hitler, this guy, a few other people.
Yeah, Manson.
Yeah.
Manson spent the majority of his life in jail.
Yeah. Well, pretty much his whole life.
Yeah, all of his life except for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And probably like the first like 11 years.
Well, yeah, but he was in juvenile.
I know, he was in juvie when he was like 8.
Yeah.
But so, he actually reached out to this UFO publisher who runs a journal and asked him to promote them and their cause.
Okay.
And so he put on the next issue, he said, 2 individuals say they were sent from the level above human and are about to leave the human level and literally, physically, return to the next evolutionary level in a spacecraft within months. And they named their group Human Individual Metamorphosis.
All right, working on the...
Yeah, they're working on the name.
The name's pretty rough. I wouldn't join the Human Metamorphosis.
Human Individual Metamorphosis?
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It really doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, kind of lost me there. I was with you the whole time.
But the thing is that you can watch all of the videos that Marshall Applewhite put out.
That's amazing.
And you can watch videos of interviews with the people in this cult as they're in it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're just having a good time.
Nettles and Applewhite, they actually end up calling themselves the Two.
Oh.
Which was a reference to the book of Revelations, and it talks about the 2 witnesses.
Alpha and Omega? Oh, okay.
And they were slain for what they saw, and they ascended to heaven.
Okay.
Now, one interesting detail is that Murph actually claimed that he could telepathically communicate with people. And so that UFO publisher, he was like, if you ever need to get back in contact with me, I don't know where I'll be, so I don't have a phone number. But here is a mental code that you can send to me telepathically, and I will receive it and reach out to you. And so the guy, he published a thing. He went on his merry little way. And in like 1974 and 5, there were these reports of people being missing after they went to one of these like human metamorphosis meetings.
Oh.
Which really was just people got intoxicated with the vibrations and what they were putting out and believed them and kept following them around the country.
Okay.
But so the UFO publisher actually mentally did his code, and he said that the next morning he received a call from Murph, which actually for him made him fully believe Murph.
That would be very strange if true.
Right?
I wonder what the code was. Like
that's what I wanted to know. Like
sexy man 696969.
But so the group was like fucking. They were destitute. They had no money.
This is a terrible cult. Cults always have too much money.
Not when they start up.
It
depends on which one.
People,
Well, so their members that they had actually like begged for money. They sold their blood.
Oh, jeez.
And their richer members and their more elderly members would sign away their Social Security to the group.
Yeah.
The young members with trust funds would sign their trust funds to the group.
That's step one in the cult is take everything away from someone so they can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
You are invested in this for the rest of your life.
And so
it might not be that much longer.
Well, by 1976, the two got really pissed off that reporters kept asking questions about Applewhite's past and how the group was making money.
Oh, we got beggars on the street.
And so they actually went off the grid, and they claimed to be camping and preparing in good energy states, which was California, Arizona, and Colorado.
Energy as in like telepathic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like clean, clear energy, good energy, not negative energy like New York.
Yeah.
Fucking DC.
Scumbag. Yeah, DC. Oh my God. Can you imagine? A cult in DC.
And when they were interviewing surviving members, they would actually recount that there was like this massive sense of urgency to be prepared. And especially when they got into those, because there were groups of about 60 people.
Yeah.
In like multiple states. And he said once we got into like those isolated groups where like you weren't communicating with family, you wouldn't communicate with anyone, he's like, that's where like people really began to focus and like drive for this goal. And so by the 1980s, the group actually started to splinter because they were waiting for so long.
Yeah,
you know, they're still preparing. And older members started to quit, and the group rebranded itself as
good.
Heaven's Gate.
Oh, okay, yeah. They hit the jackpot with the name. Like that was an amazing.
Oh yeah, it's a good
name. I would join Heaven's Gate.
And so in 1982, Nettles sent a letter to her daughter, which actually implied that she stopped believing in this whole thing and really wanted to leave.
She's not part of the two anymore? It's just the one?
Well, here's the shitty thing.
Uh-oh.
Nettles actually developed brain cancer in 85.
Jesus.
And she went to a hospital where Applewhite checked her in under a fake name, and she died alone in a hospital room.
God.
That hospital was like 2 hours from her family.
What an asshole.
And he didn't even tell her family until a couple months after she was dead.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this. This is wild.
So the group was really shook by one of the two dying. And so Applewhite actually had to like go into his doctrine and change it. And change that there were other ways of ascending to this astral plane, and she had chosen to go early and prepare for them.
See, this is always the issue with like having a very dogmatic belief structure, you know, like very specific guidelines, and if any deviation from it like makes you look like an idiot, you probably shouldn't write that in there.
Yeah, you're kind of fucked.
Kind of just keep it kind of vague. Like every good like Nostradamus is great with that. Like, oh, between two rivers there will be a sunset and a man wearing a blue hat. Then the end of the world. Just like, oh, what? Is that a metaphor? Is that real? Like you literally mean there's a guy between two rivers?
Or two rivers, like the casino?
Yeah. Or is it a metaphor like two rivers as in like
a river delta?
Like a crossing?
I'm confused.
Political? I don't know.
But so after he changed all of his doctrines,
to be more vague.
This is when the crackdown came.
Oh.
So they were all living in this house. And
as you do.
Applewhite would like every time they were in the house, they were in the spacecraft. And they would do their routines to prepare. And he started like measuring their food intake. He gave them very strict rules for interacting with people outside of the house.
Very Shinrikyo in that way.
And he started questioning his members' faith. Like openly. He like would like say that like, you know, if you don't believe me, like if you believe me, then prove it. Like do this. He would question them. And he always had distanced himself from male members because he had gay urges.
Oh, right. Because, I forgot about that. He's gay.
Yeah.
He's like a hidden gay. He's like
and he tries to push down and tamp down these urges until he sexually assaults a person.
Yeah, because when you start a cult, you usually do it for money and pussy. Unless you're gay, then it's money and buttholes.
Supposedly.
But yeah, if you're trying to hide your gay urges, what the fuck why are you doing a cult then, dude? Like,
well, here's the best part. So he started questioning all those people and trying to make them prove their faith. And he came upon this idea that they needed to cleanse themselves and purify their spirit.
by sucking his dick.
No, by removing all sexual urges.
Oh my man, what a loser. I hate this cult.
He asked all of the male members to join him in getting surgically castrated.
Now that's not original. Most
Having
cults
like
do
your dick and balls chopped off.
no, surgical though.
Surgical.
So you just snip, right?
No, they like lop
you mean
it
like
off. Off. It's not
Oh my
chemical
God.
castration where like the shit just doesn't produce it anymore.
It's surgical.
And he wanted, and literally, he got 6 other men to go with him to Mexico City, where they got their junk lopped off. They
In
came
Mexico?
back. Yeah, they went down to Mexico to do it. I mean,
That's the true tragedy here.
that's believing in something.
Would you cut your dick and balls off or something?
It would have to be really goddamn convincing.
This podcast?
No, I wouldn't chop my dick and balls off for this podcast. I don't know if that's like a measure of true faith for something that you put a lot of work and effort into.
Like I kind of get it. Like if I didn't have a dick and balls, man, I'd be so productive. I would just be alone working on stuff, but nothing would be good. You'd just be working on stuff all day long and it just sucks.
Yeah, there wouldn't be much passion.
Yeah. It's like, maybe I'll make some money. But what's the point of money? My dick and balls aren't there.
Yeah, what am I driving for? What do I want? Someone who will love me? Who's gonna love this? I look like a Ken doll. I look like a Ken doll with like a dog like scar down there.
Oh,
It's one of those vertical cuts.
gross.
So now
So 6 guys got their dick and balls cut off.
well,
and him.
Well, 7. Yeah, 7. 7
Okay.
including him.
Well, he doesn't count because he's an asshole.
Well, he would in the video that's most often circulated
Yeah,
about Heaven's Gate.
the meme. Yeah.
Yeah, it was him talking about. It was called Videotape 2, Planet Earth About to Be Recycled. Your only chance to survive. Leave with us. Came out October 5th, 96. It's an hour long.
And we're gonna play it right now.
God no.
No.
No, I'm gonna post the link to the Heaven's Gate.
It's still it's still
still
a functioning website and it's a still functioning
you can
organization.
Yeah, you can email them and ask for like their literature and their books. They have a Vimeo channel with all of their VHS tapes uploaded.
That's what I love. That's what I love to see, man. Like,
And so I'm going to post that on our page when we put this out.
yeah, and I'll be watching it tonight.
And so in the early 90s,
Right, back in the 90s.
Murph, he was pretty good at this. He wanted to relay to people that he was a higher being like Jesus.
Oh,
And so
still the
he-
Jesus thing.
Oh yeah, still the Jesus thing.
Jesus had a dick and balls, though.
Maybe.
You're right. We don't know.
We don't know. No one ever inspected that.
He was banging that one chick.
Who, Mary Magdalene, his
Dad.
mom?
No, wait, Mary Magdalene, the
Oh.
prostitute.
Oh, the prostitute. Yeah, he was banging her.
Banging her.
Maybe. I don't know. The only person that he ever depicted banging was those merchants in the church when he pulled out a whip and beat their asses and kicked them out of the church.
Stop gambling in my church. This is my church.
Yeah.
Did he do that?
He did.
Oh no, him, Merv.
Murph? No,
Murph.
Murph was smart.
Oh,
In the 90s, he started spreading his ideas online.
wow, the internet was still around.
And so he created a bunch of websites through an overarching company that he had made called Higher Source. And through Higher Source, they also put it was basically like a way to make your own website as well.
Yeah, it shows because the website that's still up to this day is very
Higher Source.
1991.
Well, it earned him $400,000 a year.
Jesus Christ!
And so with that
In the
money,
90s
yeah,
on the internet,
yeah,
that's like 90% of what the internet was making that year.
yeah. It was
Holy
insane.
fuck, 400,000. I want to start.
$400,000 a year.
We're starting a cult, dude.
So with that money, he put out full-page ads in major newspapers telling his members that he was attempting to reach out and recruit a second wave of believers to go with them.
Right.
Now,
Never die alone.
so now we get to the part that I don't think he was ever prepared for, even though he's been preparing since the 70s.
Yeah.
When the Hale Bopp comet actually comes to Earth, which for those of you who actually have never really heard about Heaven's Gate, their belief is that the two were a higher form of life that had come down from the kingdom of heaven and taken over the bodies of these people as vessels, and that all of their followers were also just vessels that were holding these higher beings who had forgotten that they're higher beings. And so they were reminding them and telling them that the Hale Bopp comet would be coming by to pick them up.
Yeah.
And that there is a ship that follows the comet inside of the tail that when it passes, they are going to basically pick them up and bring them over to the kingdom of heaven.
It's a good plan, man. Very Scientology.
Very.
The concept of alien beings living inside of us or whatever, in volcanoes or something. I don't know. Some fucking bullshit.
Well, so in March of 1997, the Hale Bopp comet was starting to approach.
Fuck.
And so Murph said that there was that it was all coming to fruition and that all the members had to get ready.
Yeah.
And so higher source websites, all of them put out a red alert, which is still up on the Heaven's Gate website right now.
Wow.
And it says, whether Hale Bopp has a companion or not is irrelevant from our perspectives. However, its arrival is joyously very significant to us at Heaven's Gate. The joy is that our older member in the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of heaven, has made it clear to us that Hale Bopp's approach is the marker we have been waiting for. The time for the arrival of the spacecraft from the level above human to take us home to their world in the literal heavens. Our 22 years of classroom here on planet Earth is finally coming to conclusion. Graduation from the human evolutionary level. We are happily prepared to leave this world and go with T's crew. Now, so T is another T is another name for Applewhite, because at a certain point the two
became the one, and
they changed their names to things that were also common companions, and so he was T and Bonnie was Do, as in like do re mi fa sol la ti do. So he was T and she was Do, and Do died, so he was still T.
He was T he he all the way home.
But so all of the members prepared themselves.
Yeah.
And so they drank. They were in head to toe brand new tracksuits. Sorry, no. So I'm so sorry. They were in sweatpants and these special T-shirts that had a patch on the arm that said Heaven's Gate. What was it? It's like Outbound Crew or something like that, or Explorer Crew. It's something like that. And there's people on Etsy who still sell those patches.
Oh yeah, no, that's a smart idea. I might buy one.
But so they
put it on my skunk ape shirt.
They drank this concoction of chemicals of barbiturates, and then they drank alcohol, and then they put a plastic bag over their head, and they laid down in their brand new track shoes with their shaved head and their quarters in their pocket, and they waited to die. When they died, a team of living members, because they went in waves, would come in, take off the bag, and lay a purple cloth covering their face, like basically their chest area.
Mm-hmm.
And they had ascended.
Oh.
And so...
Nice.
On March 26th... Oh, actually, this is crazy. With that red alert, they also FedExed a bunch of boxes to their old friends and old members.
With bombs in them?
No.
Oh.
With a videotape talking about how they were returning to the ship, to their higher plane. It was effectively like a goodbye.
Oh, that's...
But there was also a letter.
Jesus.
And one of the two surviving members, this guy Chuck Humphrey, he was talking about when he received that letter, because it said how they had left their vehicles, and they had left their vehicles the way they entered them, and they're returning through the ship to the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
And Chuck Humphrey was so upset that he kind of like missed this opportunity that he tried to kill himself a few weeks after that. And the police stopped him.
Well, thank God.
And he, for the rest of his life, spread the message of Heaven's Gate.
Oh, and that's the reason why it's still up and open till this day, is him.
Nah, it's because there's a other subsidiary company that bought it and continues it going.
What the fuck? It was bought out? Well,
Yeah,
like
by,
Walmart?
No, it's called Tela Services, Telah. They're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh my God.
But
How much money are they still making to this day?
I didn't look into that.
$400,000 a year.
But if you do want hard editions of the book, of their books, it's $45 to Telah Services to get you it.
Oh.
Now,
How many people passed away, committed suicide?
well, so they went from having 31 members
Oh, okay.
to having 2.
So 29.
So 29 died.
People
29
took their lives.
killed themselves and ascended to their higher plane.
Do we know if they actually succeeded?
No, but there was a lot of myth and lore on like television networks when they left about like them seeing like a strange thing following the comet. And people were like, "Oh, it's the ship," and it's like, no.
Well, it only comes around every 2,000 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is pretty eventful. Like it does. I remember seeing it. I didn't drink any chemicals or alcohol.
You didn't lay down and get ready to die?
Not yet.
Well, so this brings us to another technical cult.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is called...
This is a twofer.
Yeah. So this is called the Unarius Academy of Science.
All right. What?
Now, Unarius is still an active organization. They were founded in 1954 by a couple. Now, this couple was Ernest and Ruth Norman.
Mm-hmm.
And so they controlled the organization from 54 to 71. And they defined the mission as a explanation and promotion of interdimensional science of life in the books they would write. He said that he channeled the material via his psychic connections with extraterrestrial intelligences. And basically, they talked about aliens coming into land and tell us, train us how to live.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of their quote unquote studying revolves around their belief in the immortality of the soul and the fact that they think that everyone has been reincarnated many, many times.
This is just fucking Heaven's Gate with a different name.
That's what people assumed.
Oh.
And that's what's funny is because they actually were given, there was a new leader that came in.
Mm-hmm. His name was Marvin.
The Martian.
Yes, hello.
I see where you're going with this. But no, they, because the two of them, they actually were an older couple. And so Ernest died first, and then later his wife. But
It's like the opposite. What the fuck?
well, no, because Ernest died in 71, his wife continued it. They said that basically Ernest had this mental connection with aliens who had shown him, and they were Martians. They were people on Mars.
Yeah.
And they lived in these channels that you can see from a telescope on Mars. And so they live underneath the crust in these channels because they had been scorched by,
sun.
Yeah, by this. Well,
The hot sun on Mars.
well, no, because when by a solar flare,
Ah.
like a solar flare went out and like whipped the planet, and burnt the entire thing.
Destroyed the atmosphere or whatever.
And so that all the Martians live underground in these channels. And so they wrote a bunch of these books about this shit. And then they talked about how, they could attain their higher self. And eventually they started talking about how they were in communication with people known as the Friendly Space Brothers.
What? Okay.
So after learning to read their past lives, they learned how, what the issues were with their life and how to correct it and things of that nature. And so one of their earlier followers, when he eventually found them, they found that his past life, he was Pontius Pilate, who was the Roman governor who was the one who decreed the death of Jesus.
Oh, I didn't know that, but man, that guy's a meanie, huh? If he didn't do that, I bet Christianity wouldn't have existed.
No, probably not. Good for Pontius Pilate, He's just doing his job. Jesus Christ. But so
yes.
So they believed in UFOs.
Oh.
And they were located in Glenview, which was not very far from where Heaven's Gate was. So when Heaven's Gate happened, they got fucking blasted.
Yeah, I bet that'd look really, really awkward. Like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
no, we're a different alien call, I swear.
Yeah.
We don't want to die.
They also were talking about how aliens are going to come to Earth.
Were they planning on killing themselves?
No. They wanted to learn from these aliens.
Yeah, but you never know. Maybe that meant they fucking blow their brains out with shotgun shells. Who knows what these fucking people are thinking? Well,
so this guy started going by Uriel, who was the one Uriel actually died in 93.
Oh, okay.
And her death confirmed this long-held prophecy that the land, it kind of broke a lot of their prophecies, because Uriel was supposed to be the one who they were communicating with at that point once Ernest died, and they were going to land during Uriel's lifetime. And so this guy Spiegel also was like, hey, I can channel him. And everyone's like, I don't think so.
Your name's Spiegel. You can't do anything.
We don't think you can, Louis. Louis Spiegel.
Hey, how you doing? I can talk to the fucking alien. Just give me some money. That's all. You just give me $35 and I'll tell you what the aliens are telling me.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some shit falls off the back of a truck and you get some good shit.
You get some fucking alien knowledge. You fell off a truck.
But so Spiegel, tried to channel in front of everyone, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do it." And
aliens, tell me the secrets of the universe.
And so they actually were just like, "Yeah, you're a bunch of bullshit. We're gonna keep following the text, but not you."
We were talking about con man earlier, like confidence men, con men. This guy is like what's an unconfident man? Like uncon man.
Not a salesman.
Incompetent man.
Well, so they started the new leader, who he was probably the best leader that they had. He changed all of the claim of they're coming for one person to they're going to come to teach all of us. They're going to land over here. They've reached out and told us that in 2001.
Oh. Always have to cement the year.
They will send. This was actually the second year that they proposed. The first time they proposed, it was in 77.
Oh, god damn.
And when 78 rolled around, they were like, obviously we weren't ready. And then by 79, they're like, we received another communication that it's going to happen in 2001.
We're still not ready.
They gave us a 20-year gap to get ready.
Okay. And then 9/11 happened.
I know. But so supposedly one spacecraft was going to land in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, if you were going to say New York, I would shit myself.
And then 33 other crafts were going to land in this space
in the Bermuda Triangle.
out near California, out near where their enclave was.
Oh, that little desert?
In the desert.
Yeah, there's
and
like
they
a
were
little
going,
have you seen that? The
I
little
have.
desert thing? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Is
It's
that where they were talking about, or is it something
Yeah,
else?
it's because it's like a desert on an elevated plane.
Yeah.
And the 33 ships were going to land on top of each other and kind of stack and interconnect and become this like giant tower. And each one of the ships will have 1,000 teachers that will descend to basically train humanity and teach us how we can fix our planet and continue living prosperously into the future.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of strange to me.
What about what you just said is strange?
This is literally what the Sumerians wrote about.
Oh, really?
Well, the Sumerians
Back
wrote
to
about
Ancient Aliens, episode 3, 4, and 5.
Well, so the Sumerians wrote about the sky people coming through the Great Bracelet, which is the asteroid belt out like that Pluto's in. They came through the Great Bracelet and they landed on Earth and they taught them how to have a modern civilization.
Okay.
They taught them about everything from DNA to nuclear energy.
They're like, dude, you know that we're in the Stone Age, right? Like, you will know one day.
Yeah. Well, no, they brought them into the modern age.
Oh, okay.
And then they destroyed themselves somehow.
Oh, damn it.
Either that or they were destroyed by something else. We don't know.
That's Atlantis.
There's two big lost civilizations at that time. There was the port city in Egypt that they found about in the early 2000s. That's just like sunken.
Yeah, it's like right out, like in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
It's just like...
And it's not that deep.
It's like a civilization that's like 1,000 years future. Like,
yeah.
Is that where it should have been?
It's like...
How'd this get here? What the
It's
fuck?
only like 20 meters down. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, wow, we lost it forever. It's like...
It's right there. I can see it.
I can see the towers. Is that a pyramid? But so the Space Brothers didn't end up coming in 2001, obviously.
Oh, damn.
They said that humanity was not ready.
Oh, for stacking.
Well, to be able to accept the knowledge, because the biggest concern of the Unarius Academy of Science is that the friendly Space Brothers will come down to teach us how to modernize and complete our society well.
Okay.
And we'll attack them, and then they'll leave.
What they're really worried about is a fucking comedian like me going there and be like, oh shit, these aliens are coming by. Oh my god, they're gonna teach us stuff, and I'm just gonna yell out, "It's a cookbook! It's a cookbook!" And they're like, God damn it! They hate that fucking episode, and they just fly out.
Yeah.
They're really worried about that one because that would have a lot of hate on their face.
Yeah, boy, that'd be a very bad PR stunt for them.
Like,
so
back on the home world, it's like tried to connect with Earth civilization, then Jackass ruined it for everybody.
What's really strange to me is that the reason that people push back against these UFO cults is because they draw from Eastern religions and not Western, right? It bypasses the need for a single God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a new determination to wait for these new prophets in the stars, which are literally just technological angels in some sense.
Yeah.
To come down and teach us what we need to know. And what was interesting is that there was this guy, the one that you were laughing at on the screen, the one you thought was like, I just want to be dead.
Yeah.
His name is Reverend Milton Northdrift. And he was a reverend for the majority of his life and fully embraces Christianity and fully embraces UFO doctrine.
There's nothing that you can't enjoy both, you know? You get your bullshit from a book and a bullshit from a guy, you know?
Well, no, so he started believing in UFOs when he was in New York City one time. And he saw 4 saucers just like flying around the city, flying around Manhattan and making different colors and changing where they were and bouncing around each other. And he watched this and he went back and told his congregation, and he like noted that when he brought it up, like
everyone was laughing.
Yeah, basically people were like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't believe anything this guy says. So he had to separate it.
You got to keep them separated.
But then he went digging into the Bible. And he found he quotes the passage that discusses the Star of Bethlehem.
Okay.
Now, that's the star that showed the 3 wise men where Jesus was.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Now, the quote from the Bible is, "The star that they had seen went before them until it came and stood over the place where the young child was."
Stars don't do that.
Yeah, nothing does that.
Except for an air balloon with a light on it.
Yeah, or a saucer that can move independently. But so, now referencing back to Applegate, right?
Better.
Referencing back to Applegate.
Okay.
Applewhite, sorry. To
Applegate.
Applegate. No, that's a different whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole other
The whole
episode.
Steve Jobs conspiracy. Applegate.
There's definitely a cult. We can definitely talk about Apple fans.
Oh, of course, but we won't. Now,
I have a cult idea. Aliens.
well, because Applewhite always talked about how Jesus was a higher being that was placed into the vessel that was Jesus of Nazareth.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if that were to be true, this star that was bringing the wise men could have simply been
His spaceship.
the spaceship and him
Getting dropped
implanting
off.
himself into this thing.
Right. No, I get it. Where was the comet, though?
Oh, they don't give a shit about the comet. They really don't. The leader of Unarius, when he was interviewed about Heaven's Gate, he said, we're all driving on this highway of life, and they took the wrong exit and got into a head-on collision. That was his quote about them.
Damn. Throwing shade at fucking dead people.
Well,
Jesus.
yeah, because they're very close in proximity and in belief, and he didn't want everyone thinking that they were going to kill themselves.
Lost a lot of members in 1996.
Well, the thing is great is that the fucking they keep interviewing this guy who is the president of the Christian Research Institute at the time.
Okay.
Which that organization itself is a fucking joke. The Christian Research Institute.
Like, what are they researching?
Right?
The Bible?
Who knows? They're the religion that has stomped on scientific progress for thousands of years.
Right.
But now they want to know what's going on.
Yeah. What about this Earth?
So how
not
did
being
God
flat?
give a millipede so many legs? I thought he had large fingers. How did he attach each one?
How did the devil bury all these dinosaur bones so quick? That's what I want to know.
Well, so the president of the Christian Research Institute, his name's Hank Hanegraaff.
Okay.
And he was interviewed about Unarius. And he said Christianity does not preclude the possibility of UFOs, nor does science preclude the possibility of UFOs. So there's Hank Hanegraaff, right?
Right.
He says Christianity does not preclude the possibility of UFOs, nor does science preclude the possibility of UFOs. He says, but we have not seen enough or any physical evidence to prove their existence. Now that's really it's a stupid fucking statement.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Because he's trying to use a big word to confuse people.
Mm-hmm.
But all he's saying, and by the way, preclude.
See, is that even like the right word?
I mean, he's applying it very liberally to what it actually means.
Uh-huh.
But basically he's trying to say that in all of the Christian doctrine, and I'm sure his vast knowledge of all science.
Well, yeah, he's part of the Christian Research Society president.
It can't rule out the existence of UFOs. It can't say that they're not real.
I guess.
However, he hasn't seen or been had evidence thrown in his face, because I'm sure he's avoiding any that could come up.
Yeah.
To prove it to him.
Preclude him to it.
And he ended his statement by saying, I think people believe in what they believe because they want to believe it.
That's interesting that a person that is part of the Christian religion would say that.
Right?
It's almost.
I was like, I can't agree with this man any more than I just did with that statement.
That's actually very apt. That's an apt fucking observation.
Well, because that was the end all be all observation of our astrology episode as well, is that people will believe in what they want to believe in. Simply because they want to believe it. Yeah. It gives them a sense of purpose.
This is
of control.
Circular logic.
Yeah.
But it's true.
But that's the thing, is that the power of belief and the power of control is a very interesting and powerful weapon. Because we can do an entire fucking episode on Jim Jones.
We probably will at some point.
Because he literally spent his entire life practicing and testing just his ability to influence people and manipulate them in front of them.
No, usually in groups.
Well, he liked to have a group, yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah. But so we'll talk about something like that. But check out the videos on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And just we'll post a few pictures of Applewhite in the Earth about to be recycled video, because good Lord, he needs to learn to blink.
I don't know what you mean.
It's insane. But that's just the power of people. We have, our brains have the ability to convince ourselves of anything.
Oh yeah. It's not very hard to convince you.
No. Just remove one piece of information.
Yeah, people just want, like, who's it? I forget, but Barnum and Bailey or something. He always said, like, people want to be fooled. Or people
P.T. Barnum?
Yeah, P.T. Barnum.
He said, there's a sucker born every minute.
Yeah, but there's a better quote. Like, people want to be fooled. Like,
they do.
They'll just.
That's what brings excitement, is to know that they can be fooled.
Like people that get scammed by, like, obvious scams. Like.
Well, and that's the thing. So with P.T. Barnum, he was a fucking incredible PR man.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't a good person, but who gives a shit about that? I don't know when that ever became the merit of we should remember that person, is because they were good.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Tell me one good person ever. Exactly. Even people throwing Mother Teresa under the bus. She was like,
Mother Teresa pushed against women getting educated and having access to, like, hygienic shit for their periods.
Nothing wrong with that.
She, like, literally would not supply her women's hospitals with pads and tampons.
Yeah. Okay. Name me a good person.
She spent all of her fucking money saving these snow leopards.
Oh, man. Like the snow. I love the snow leopards, dude. What, you got a problem with snow leopards now?
Maybe. We'll see.
Wow.
We'll have to see. But no, I mean, I really can't name someone who is altruistically good.
Because they don't exist.
No. Look at anyone. Abraham Lincoln wanted to send all of the Africans back to Africa and pay their slave owners for the dividends that they would have lost because they lost all their workers.
Gandhi's a rapist.
He wasn't a rapist. He just was very odd and liked to
sleep with his
do sexual
nieces.
Experiments to see if he could, sustain himself and not give in to his sexual urges by sleeping naked with his 14-year-old niece.
A little weird. Maybe he should have went to Mexico, got a zip.
Maybe. Even who else is seen as holier than thou and above all? Martin Luther King Jr. was a serial cheater on his wife. He cheated on his wife all the time as he was a fucking reverend preaching about how he was, had a dream and I'm the one you should follow and I'm constantly fucking other women. Thanks for this platform. Look at JFK. JFK had the arguably the sexiest first lady of all time, and constantly cheated on her with the same woman that his brother was having sex with.
Probably did it at the same time, high-fiving.
Most likely. But it's just like, no one's that good.
Yeah.
look at Donald Trump. He
all.
he signed the bill for 9/11 first responders to continue having health care, but then he also claimed that he was there helping with the first responders, even though he has also claimed that he was in Jersey City watching people celebrate as the towers fell, that he was in his apartment in Trump Tower watching, able to see people jumping from the buildings, even though it's 5 miles away. And he also has claimed that on that day he was down there sending workers to help. And so because of that, the government gave him a $150,000 loan
Oh my God.
to reimburse him for all of his help in housing people, even though he didn't.
You didn't do anything.
He claimed to have donated $10,000 to the fund, which he didn't. And then as a political stunt during his campaigning in 2016, his foundation, which later that year was shut down because they found out he was using it to personally bankroll his corruption. That foundation donated $100,000 to building the 9/11 Memorial Museum, but he also hadn't personally donated to it in over like 10 years. So he was just giving other people's money as himself.
Yeah.
So he profited on 9/11. You know, day of,
Yeah.
he called into the news and was gloating about how, because those towers fell, his building was now the tallest in Manhattan again.
Oh my God. What a prick.
I can read you the quote.
I believe you.
It's a very nice quote.
So for everyone listening,
We're very off topic.
be vigilant, be wild, because there are cult leaders everywhere. Though they might not have fancy hats or bald or beards or sunglasses, they do walk among us.
They do. Here's the quote. This is literally 2 hours after the second tower fell.
Mm-hmm.
On TV, he called in and he said, and he was rambling. And at one point he says, 40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan. It was actually before the World Trade Center the tallest, and then when they built the World Trade Center, it became known as the second tallest, and now it's the tallest.
It's always a dick measuring competition with this asshole.
No, it was literally on September 11th, 2001. And then now today...
there's still like 3,000 people missing and presumed dead, sir.
I say 18 years later, he comes out and goes, I was down there.
I was helping people.
I wouldn't call myself a first responder. I mean, you can if you wanted to, but I was down there with those people. They're good people. They did a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ. Honestly, that's the thing. People, stay vigilant. You really have to, because the mainstream media is trying to warp the way that you see politicians.
Yeah, do not
and that's
watch
the
any
issue.
of it, left or right. Like, it's all
It's
awful.
a huge issue right now, because you got to think about what kind of an effect this is going to have.
You tell me.
How is anyone in our nation or the world supposed to listen to and respect whoever our next president is?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fucking weird.
Yeah, this dude has literally changed the way that people look at politics, and made it an us versus them, a red versus blue, and now there's not going to be any winners.
Yeah, it's all losers now.
And we're kind of fucked. But don't worry, England's going to crash and burn before we do, so we just have to see where those missiles that North Korea launched about 22 minutes ago actually land.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
During the apocalypse.
If we're dead, nice knowing you. Nice knowing you. All right. Hopefully you can turn in next week and hear our lovely voices over the... Get under the table, Michael. Get under the table.
Oh, no. I'm too fat.
Okay.
Right. We love you all.
I'll miss you. Go fuck yourself. I guess that's accident.
Yeah.
And accidental injury and accidental death.
You can't sue the military. Well, yeah, you could.
Yeah, you can.
You can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah, you might not win,
Yeah.
but you can do it. That's like when people are like, "You're not allowed to complain." I'm like,
Yes.
"Yes, I am."
I hate it when people said you can't say that. And I'm just like, I live in America, don't I?
Yeah, and not even that, but like, I have a vocal box and can push air through my fucking larynx
Yeah.
and use my mouth to make those letters into that word. Can I not?
Interesting.
But I say words only have the power you give them.
Yeah. What are words? Like who? You ever deconstruct what things are?
Yes, but
Like belief.
yeah. I mean, you know that like the Scottish money is like it's a Scottish pound. It's not a British pound. And
Two different weights.
No, well, it's just dollars. And so the thing is that you can't exchange a Scottish pound in England for English pounds. You have to go back to Scotland and give it back to them and get English pounds from a certain place and then go back to England.
Are they exact same? Do they look exactly the same?
No.
Oh,
So the reason
I thought this
is,
was like super retarded. Like,
well, it kind of is. It's because England has their central pound.
yeah,
Scotland has 10 separate banks that all have the right to print Scottish pounds.
very bad idea.
So there are 10 separate versions of the pound
Yeah. Oh
in
my
Scotland.
God.
And the thing is
That's like
that
Confederate money.
it's not backed by any kind of
No, the bank,
precious stone. Like,
the building over there, he printed it. It's faith.
exactly. That is, and same with American money since we left the gold standard.
Yeah, the
but like,
fiat currency. Yeah.
is literally the money is only worth something because people believe that it's worth something.
Oh.
It's a piece of paper that is, for some reason, important and expensive. It's all belief.
Yeah. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
what-
why I love in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the way to fly is just to forget that you're supposed to fall.
Okay, that's a Looney Tune cartoon.
No, it's in the it's in the Hitchhiker's Guide. It's basically like, and they have a whole like half chapter kind of almost like cutscene in the book of like a scientific school of trying to measure this thing.
Yeah.
And they would do it by like having people like jump down the stairs, and right before they were about to impact, someone would like yell like, "God bless you," and like distract them from like remembering to hit the ground.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly what ended up giving you the ability to fly, was just forgetting you're supposed to fall. And so you'll just keep going. And then you just think about it, and you can go up or down.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you think about the fact that you should be falling, you stop flying.
Yeah, I bet Sonny Bono wished that he thought that right before he hit that tree.
Yeah. I'm sure that a lot of people have wished that, including Mr. Felix Colgrave. He was like, I wish I just forgot that I had to fall.
Oh, who's Felix? What did he do?
Remember the Red Bull guy that jumped from space? What a
He
crazy
lived,
motherfucker.
though.
Of
He
course he
lived.
did, but what a crazy motherfucker. He took a weather balloon up into space and then was just like, all right, and
Bye.
Yep. I'm surprised that he that must have been some heavy calculations to get right to the point where he wouldn't burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Would you burn up in the atmosphere?
I mean, if you went high enough, yeah. Unprotected
It's hard to
entirely.
It's hard to say because spaceships do, because they're big metal things, like a little.
Well, it's
human, I don't
because
know,
of
you
the
might
friction.
be able to.
It's because of the friction you build up by going through it. So his suit would build friction, and he probably would burn, if not melt.
Yeah. Oof.
That'd be insane. Just
that
like a
would've
puddle falls.
Yeah. Like, oh, here he comes.
It just starts
Oh.
raining.
It's
Like, what the fuck?
a person.
It's all silver and red.
Melted.
And there's like chunks of bone start falling. You're like, oh my God, get the kids inside.
Run!
Oh no.
It gives you wings.
It's like the Challenger V2.
There was a teacher on that one.
Yes, that's why everyone watched it in school.
Like, yay, teachers can be. Oh no.
Teachers can
Turn
be
it off. Turn it off.
killed publicly on live broadcast.
Live from Florida. It's
Spin the Dice on a Teacher's Live. Coming back at 7.
this may shock you.
But I guess we should say hello. So